You guys, welcome back to the channel. Look what just came in the mail. I'm super excited to open this. I haven't actually opened it yet. I wanted to do it on camera on the channel with you folks. So today's video is going to be my first impressions for this new Yucca palette. I'm going to give you guys a close-up look at the palette in pristine, untouched condition, and then I'm going to do some swatches, and then we're going to do a look, and I'm going to give you my first impressions. So if you're into that, stick around. Let's start with opening it, shall we? So first off, I want to say I love this packaging. I love that she or they, I don't like referring to a brand as the person, even if it's named after the person, but look at me, I'm doing ASMR. Oh god. I love the way that they've been doing their packaging recently. Like every palette is a little bit different. This is the soft touch matte plastic case, and it has this beautiful gradient to it. I love that, and it goes with the color story. So let's open it up. Are you ready? I don't know if I'm ready. Okay, there it is. I want to look at it like in person because I've seen so many pictures and stuff online, so many videos, and like looking at it in person, it's a little bit of a different experience. That is beautiful in person. Plantasia, that's a beautiful shade in person. Persian, that's a beautiful shade in person. This one here, Camu Camu, that's one of the ones that I'm the most excited for. I also am excited for Willow. Wow, Makia? Is that how you pronounce that? That one also looks like a really good time. I'm really excited to get into this. Let's take some close-ups of the pristine palette. Then I will give you some close-up swatches, and then we'll get into the first look. We're gonna fast forward in time. I'm not gonna be wearing this look. If you want to know what this is, by the way, you can check out the video that I posted on Sunday. This is using the gold palette. I did 3 looks with the gold palette. There is also going to be another video in the very near future comparing these two palettes. I'm gonna do an eye look with each one, and I'm gonna try to make the eye looks kind of similar, just to kind of show the difference in tone between the two palettes. I feel like the gold palette is a little bit more cool toned, although seeing them in person, I'm kind of questioning that. I feel like they are a little more similar than I actually anticipated, but I'm wondering if using them will kind of change that. Like if I'll think differently about it once I have them on my eyes. Anyway, no more plugs for future videos. Let's get into the close-ups and the swatches. Okay, so we're going for the summer vibes, even though I'm wearing a hoodie. It's just a little chilly where I sit to film because anytime the AC turns on, the fan is like right above me, so it like destroys me. But I think we're gonna do a green look today. You know, I love colorful makeup, and I chose to go with this really bright, intense lip. So let's do some nice colorful green shadows, shall we? I think I'm going to start by trying to build up some depth with this cream to powder shadow called Calathea, whatever the heck that is. And I'm just going to take this dense little brush. I'm just going to start building it out here, kind of in this shape. Definitely trying to go on pretty thick because these cream to powder shadows start out pretty soft and you have to build them up. What do we think of that? I'm also going to take this shade into this area here, this part of my crease, and just deepen up there because I have very deep set eyes. And I like to just go in and accentuate the deepness of my crease. if that makes sense. Now I'm gonna blend out the outer corner with this shade here called Willow, because I think this is a beautiful shade, and I think that having it out on the outer part of the crease here will give this look just the right kind of intense green. Trying to just kind of make the right shape here. Okay, wow. Nice and pigmented. Beautiful. Blending out gorgeously. Okay. Okay, so clearly we're going in pretty dramatic. My blend on this side is kind of wonky, but we're gonna try to deal with that. As I'm sitting here in this sweater, I'm like, actually starting to get kind of warm. Okay, let's see. The next thing that I know for sure I want to do is I want to take the chartreuse shade right here, Camu Camu, and I want to put it on the inner corner and kind of pull it in. Okay, so the sweater is gone because I was dying, but I'm really just gonna like pack this on and drag it up. Oh no, there was some creasing in the concealer that I had there, and now it's doing something wonky. Whatever. Just bring it up into the crease here. I think I'm actually gonna take it, I think I might take it over the lid. This shade clearly requires some packing, but that's okay. I think this is coming along nicely. Okay, I want to get into the fun part, which is going to be the shimmers, but I think before we do that, I think I want to throw down some colors on the under eye just because I want to kind of fix this, and I feel like going in on the under eye will be the first step to fixing that. I want to do on the under eye, I want to do, let's see, where's the palette? I want to use, I'm really excited about this shade here. This is like a cream to powder formula, and it's very thick. It almost feels like it's dry or something. Like it's not dry, but it just feels really, really thick and creamy. So I'm gonna take a flat brush, gonna dip into that, and I'm gonna run it underneath all the way across. Looks like I need a little more. This is, again, cream to powder, so it requires a little bit of building. Okay. I'm just gonna drag this chartreuse shade in a little further on the lower lash line, using the same brush that I used to put it up top. And just kind of blending it in a little with that mustardy color. Did I say the name of the mustardy color? Fushi? Did I say that? You can see my eye getting irritated. See how it's getting red? My eyes are so freaking sensitive sometimes. Okay, I'm just trying to do the same thing where I just kind of like pack it on. But I'm using like the side of the brush instead of, doing it flat. What is it about this color that makes me think of like superheroes? Isn't it like a superhero green? I feel like I should just blend these into each other just a little bit more. Maybe I should use a blending brush for that. I don't know. Might be a good idea. Okay, I'm not quite done with the lower lash line. Let's go in again with this flat brush. I want to take Willow again, and I'm just going to take it on the very outer. Ooh, that looks like a lot. I'm going to take it on the very outer part here, just the tiniest bit. Tiniest bit. It sounded like I said blit. Oof. Okay. Just kind of nudging it upwards to blend it in. Do I look like the Green Lantern? Is that why I'm thinking superhero? This is definitely more dramatic than I was anticipating. Is that a bad thing? I don't know. Also, did I totally cover up that mustard shade, like, completely? I think I want to bring it back a little bit. Hold on. I'm going to take some more of it. And I'm just going to go right between these two shades here. I don't know if this brush is right for this cream to powder formula. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's picking it up enough. Oh gosh, it's so like thick. I think that's part of it. It's so thick. Okay, I just went in kind of more like scraping it this way, and that definitely picked up a lot more. Let's try that. Okay. As I'm doing this, I want to talk a little bit about my decision to get this palette. Oh, my eye is so irritated. No. Oh no. My decision to get this palette might seem a little strange because I totally was like, you know, when Odin's Eye came out with their new palettes, I was like, oh, those look boring. I'm not really interested. I don't want to get those. And then the same thing happened when Nomad released their new palette, but the Nomad palette is practically the same palette as this. Honestly though, I thought about like waiting and like getting this palette on sale because, you know, it's an expensive palette, and I'm trying to not ever buy any Natasha Denona products at full price, which I didn't technically buy this at full price. I used my Sephora points to get $10 off, which was technically, I think it was like 14.5% off. I did the math. So, you know, let me get into these shimmers while I talk. I'm gonna start with I think Macchia, this one here, and I'm just gonna, oof, I don't want to get fallout. Gotta tap it off. But I chose to get this one because honestly, like for me, for my channel, I feel like it's become kind of a tradition for me to talk about Natasha Denona palettes when they come out. And maybe that's a little silly, a little ridiculous. Why do I feel like there's not a lot of payoff there? That can't be. Ooh, I just went in with more and I totally got fallout. But it looks better though. There's definitely more payoff now. Okay, so I'm just going about this far across. So I basically made the decision for the sake of my channel to get this palette, and like I knew there was going to be a lot of hype around it. I knew that, I mean, my feed has been completely just bursting with videos about this palette, and maybe that's because I keep clicking on them, but like everybody that I watch is doing multiple videos about this palette, and raving about this palette and losing it over this palette. And my eye is definitely watering. It's over. But yeah, I'm just seeing so much content coming out around this palette, like people talking about this palette. And I kind of figured that would be the case. So I kind of ended up making the decision that I was going to get it because I figured it would be good for my channel. I need to pick... Ooh, which shimmer do I want to go in with next? Ooh, these are both gorgeous. This finger I think has some of that orange on there, but these are both gorgeous. Maybe I'll go in with this one and then I'll do this one on my inner corner area. Would that be crazy? Or maybe I'll even take this one underneath. Ooh. Okay, I'm gonna take Komarebi, I don't know what it's called. And I'm just gonna put it on the inner part of my eye. As I'm doing this, I'm so worried that I'm not gonna make this like work because I feel like it's gone so intense. I'm so nervous that I've overdone it. If I did, it's totally all my fault though. And the fact that my eye is so irritated as I'm trying to do this, also not conducive to me feeling good about it. But that's gorgeous. Should I have been good though and bought the Nomad palette and supported an indie brand who donates to a good cause and it's cheaper and yada yada yada? Honestly, probably. But I will say another thing that made me want this palette more than the Nomad palette and made me feel more drawn to this palette than like the Odin's Eye palette is, first of all, I personally, when it comes to the more neutral palettes, I do think that I prefer more high-end brands, and maybe that's just me, I don't know, having like weird preconceptions about things, but I feel like high-end brands do neutral palettes really well. Not that this is a completely neutral palette. This is, I mean, it depends on your perspective, but I don't look at this and see a completely neutral palette or even a predominantly neutral palette. I definitely see a murky green color story and like a safari color story, but I know a lot of people consider this a very neutral palette. If you wanted to, you could go very neutral with it. I'm going to take a very small brush and use this shade here called Ray, and I'm going to take it in my inner corner and a little bit underneath. But yeah, I have this like preconception that high-end brands do neutral color stories better somehow. I don't know why. Maybe it's because for me personally, I think of like neutral color stories as being like more grown up, and like high-end palettes are more generally grown up and like fancy, and oh, my eye is just not having it while I'm doing this. Ugh. But aside from my kind of weird preconception that high-end brands do neutral palettes better, I just honestly feel like this particular color story is a little bit more unique to my collection and the kind of thing that I will kind of grab or like reach for more often, because like for instance the Nomad palette had a lot of just like true browns in it, and man do I not reach for true browns. And anytime I do, I'm always disappointed. I'm always like, oh, I don't really like the way this looks on me. I always want something kind of else, something, I don't know, more. I feel like browns don't necessarily blend into my skin tone nicely, and it just kind of looks weird. As you can see, I am struggling to try and make this kind of blend out nicely up here and not be as overly dramatic. But worked. Ooh. I don't know if I'm going to be able to save this side. I'm like really struggling with trying to save it. I'm going to take this shade called Citrine. I have no idea how this is going to go, but I'm going to just try to take this shade and use it to soften around the brow area. I'm going to actually just start with this side because this is the trouble side. Oh yeah, I don't know about that. That might have been the wrong decision. We'll see. I'm just gonna try to blend that in. Okay. I don't know about that. And now I'm like, ugh, now I gotta do this on the other side too to make them match. I have a little bit of an issue with these more kind of yellowy tones. Like I can make it work, but I have a little bit of a hard time with making them kind of blend into my skin tone, because I feel like my skin tone is a little bit more pink, and using these more yellowy tones makes me look a little sick. Just a little bit. What is happening over there? Hold the frickin' phones. What is that? Ugh. Ugh. This spot here looks so dark. I don't know if that's just like my eye shape? What is that? No, I think it's the shadow, like the eyeshadow. Okay, so I'm just kind of using this shade to just blend everything, because it's kind of got like this quality of like this kind of pea green sort of a thing that kind of just acts as a nice little transition. But I'm a little worried that it's overdoing those yellows, like I was saying, that kind of make me look sick, those yellowy tones. Ooh, what do we think of that? Oh my goodness. Another thing too is like all the way out here. I hate when I take my eyeshadow too far out over here. It always happens on this eye, and it's just such a freaking struggle that I have. Ooh, okay. Did that create a shape that doesn't suck? Ooh, on camera that looks harsh. In real life it looks okay. Ooh, at least at this angle it looks okay. Oh gosh. Oh no, look how harsh that looks. Let me get an even fluffier brush. This side looks okay. Ugh. Let me finesse this and then we'll talk. Okay folks, so I just put on mascara. I think that it helps to make it look less psycho, right? Don't I look all glamorous and cute? I feel like now that everything is on, I could maybe use a little bit more blush, although would that be too much? Would that be completely insane? I don't know, but my eyes are a little bit bothered, so I'm not gonna do anything else. But yeah, here's the look. So first impressions for this palette. I mean, honestly, I don't know. I wasn't gonna get this palette right away. It was the kind of thing where I was like, I could probably kind of skip on that. But I asked my husband and I was like, what do you think? Should I get it like for the channel? Like, do you think I basically was saying like, I think it would be good for my channel if I got this. What do you think? And he was like, yeah, get it for the channel. I was like, oh, I mean, okay. Like I said, I did use my Sephora points, so I got $10 off, which was about 15% off. So I didn't pay full price for it. What do I think of the formula? Honestly, it's Natasha Denona, so you know what I think of the formula. It's the same gorgeous formula as ever. This one here is a very dry sort of cream to powder, so it's a little bit different from other cream to powder shadows in her collection. Like it's even different from this one, which is also a cream to powder. It's much drier, it's much thicker, more dense, can I say that it's more dense? Is it more dense? It's different from what you might expect from a cream to powder from Natasha Denona. But it is workable. I mean, do you even see it? I kind of used it down here to kind of blend things and diffuse things a little. Is this messed up? Look, I'm freaking out about the mascara. But I'm also trying to look and see. Can you see it? I don't know. Maybe I'll have to do another look and see if I can get that to show up a little more. I'm excited to use some of the more orangey shades in this palette with other orangey shades that I have from Natasha Denona. I look at this palette and it's definitely like the kind of thing that I want to use as a companion palette. I always have like the fantasy of using different palettes together, which I have done several times, but especially, you know, with a brand like Natasha Denona, I'm always like, oh, I'm going to pull out all these palettes and like make the perfect red look or the perfect purple look or the perfect green look or like whatever, perfect blue look. So it's definitely going to be great for that. On its own, I'm definitely going to be using it a lot more in the near future. I actually plan on posting another video on Wednesday. I forgot I talked about this in the beginning of the video, but you'll be seeing that on Wednesday. In general though, I think that it makes for a really cute green, kind of grungy green, limey. Would you consider that a lime green? It looks like a lime. My eyes look like limes. Just a couple of limes. Blinking limes. It's definitely summery, it's definitely fun and kind of like safari-esque. It makes me think of like, kind of like the theme of the Nomad palette. It like reminds me of like the sub-Saharan African, the plains. I don't have the Nomad palette, so I can't tell you like, oh, is this better? Is this, you know, is it worth the money? Should you save your money and get the cheaper palette? But I mean, honestly, if you're gonna go for a color story like this, maybe go for the cheaper palette. I haven't heard the best things about the shimmer formula in the Nomad palette though. One thing though that I will say about people's criticism of this palette, I did hear some people saying when it comes to the shimmers that they're so like kind of sparkly and bright that they kind of don't look that different from one another on the eye. I don't think that that's true. I think that you can definitely tell there's like a gradient to how I did my eye. And I don't think that it's just because of the mattes that are underneath. I think that these are beautiful shimmers, honestly. I'm definitely excited to use this beautiful duochrome. I'm going to use that in the look that I do for Wednesday. Mattes, as usual, perfect. Color story-wise, yes, I have a little bit of a hard time with these more yellowy shades, making them work for me. But I think I did it today. I think I pulled it off. What do you think? Anyway, I hope that you think that I'm rocking it. I would definitely recommend this palette as I would recommend any Natasha Denona palette. Get it on a discount though. If you can get it on a discount, it's always better to get these palettes for cheaper because, I mean, the price just went up on these. This 15 pan palette is $69. So just keep that in mind when you're shopping Natasha Denona. Always wait for a sale. But overall, great first impressions. I definitely can't wait to do several more looks with the palette. I'm interested to see how different the looks will be because that's another criticism that I've kind of seen people talking about. You kind of get the same sort of range of looks. It's either going to be like a grungy green look or like a grungy, murky, kind of a khaki sort of a look. So we'll see what else we can do. This shade here is like a gray, kind of a silver cool tone shade. I'm going to be using that in the look that I do for Wednesday. There's definitely some variety in the palette. I feel like people's instinctual first thing they want to do is essentially a version of this. But I do give it a thumbs up. So I hope that you enjoyed the video. I hope that my input here was helpful. I hope I'm not the last person on earth to post a video about this palette. And I hope that you're excited to see me do a look using both this palette and the gold palette. If you're new, be sure to subscribe. I post every Wednesday and every Sunday, and lately I have been posting some bonus videos, including this one. I hope that you have a great week, and I will be seeing you again on Wednesday. Peace.